It's time. It's time. It's time. Today is May 3rd, 2024, 9:39 a.m. We in the first stage of this day. And my topic for today, benefit versus detriment. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Last night, going into this morning, I was at war with myself in regards of that mysterious scoreboard that I started on May 1st, 2024, that I will be revealing at a later date. And it's going to be a successful date at that. But I was able to conquer. And the reason why I was able to conquer because earlier that day I listened to a podcast called Hardly Initiated. Shout out to Tashawn Jackson and Ryan Ketchens, the host and the co-host. And they had guest Nuri Muhammad, who is a student of Louis Farrakhan, who's famous for being the leader of the Nation of Islam and who's famous for orchestrating the Million Man March. And the main thing I got from the interview, and if you go to the interview, you can see my comment in the comment section, which says, much needed interview for both women and men. And that was the first comment I posted in the comment section for Hardly Initiated. Excuse me, I'm sweating because in order for me to get the right sound for my videos and to keep the outside noise out, I have to close my windows. So if I'm sweating, that's why I have to make sure the acoustics is right. So Nuri Muhammad talked about how to overcome a bad habit and how to develop good habits. And what he said was, if you want to kill a habit, look into the detriments of that habit. So when you go to feed into that habit, in your mind, you will be meditating on the detriments, and you'll have a higher chance of not doing it. And on the flip side of the coin, if you're trying to develop a habit that's beneficial to you, look into all the benefits of that particular, habit that you're trying to practice. And that stood out to me, and that was the main reason why I was able to conquer, to keep my scoreboard now at 2-0. And when it's all said and done in life, you have to understand life comes down to what benefits you and what doesn't benefit you. Life comes down to choices that are to your benefit and choices that are to your detriment. Life comes down to the positives and the negatives. So that's something for you to think about very briefly. I was just thinking about that as I was doing my soak in my tub. That's another reason why I'm sweating a little bit. I just did a hot water soak, and I talked about that and briefly in another video, the benefits of, soaking your body to preserve your body. But I digress. But that was the main thing I got from the interview from Harley initiated host Tashawn Jackson, co-host Ryan Catchings. Shout out to y'all. Y'all doing a great job. Nori Muhammad, I've heard of him, but I never really looked into him. And, you know, that was their very last podcast that I believe they did. They had him as a guest. And I believe the name of the actual show was The Return of Great Men or Strong Men, one of them. And I encourage men and women to look into it, to listen to it. I learned a lot from it, but that was the main thing that I learned from it was pretty much, his technique to overcoming a habit or overcoming a habit and developing good habits. And see, I wanted to actually do this video to kind of give y'all kind of an introduction, kind of a little nugget, kind of a little hint of what my third scoreboard is. And I'm excited, you know. I was at war with myself late last night going into this morning, but I looked into the detriments of whatever I was doing at the time, and I looked into something that I should have been doing at the time, and I had to make a decision, and it came down to what's beneficial to me. Because when it's all said and done, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. What's good for the honey is good for the bee. What's good for the chicken is good for the eggs. What's good for the relationship is good for us. Whether it's a business relationship, whether it's a personal relationship. So I encourage you today, always lean towards what's to your benefit and stay away from what's of your detriment. And until next time, always remember, every day, get a little bit better. Every week, get better. Every month, get a lot better. And every year, get a whole lot better. Because days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years, and years become decades. Because it's time, it's time, it's time. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. You made it. Enjoy your day and enjoy your weekend. And starting Sunday, I will be starting my 21 days vacation mode, doing a video every day. Because it's time, it's time, it's time. Let's go.